One of your next guests says the markets will find their footing before April 2nd, when the reciprocal tariffs, at least for now, are set to take effect. Joining us now for more is Tom Lee. He is the head of research and founder of Fundstrat, also a CNBC contributor. Also joining us, Nancy Tangler, Laffer Tangler Investments CIO and CEO. Tom, listen, I understand it's a different White House. Every day we get a market-moving headline. A lot of people, I think, honestly, I'm just going to say it, they don't want to be neutral. They don't want to be data-driven. They want to be angry. I get that. But history says that markets will recover, right?
Yes, they've recovered every time. One thing we have to keep in mind is when markets fall this quickly from a 52-week high, I mean, just remember, less than a month ago, we were at all-time highs. That is a market pricing in a crisis. I'd say we're almost 50% pricing in a recession, and we're assuming there's no Fed put. Now, the Fed is in a position to cut rates. That really should mitigate the downside. And I do think two other things that investors have to keep in mind, because many people just want to get out until April 2nd, is number one, I do think there's a very high probability that a tariff solution happens before the next 3 weeks happens. And it's simple to see because China, Europe, Canada, Mexico, since April 18th, all of those countries have outperformed the U.S. I don't think that markets are that blind to say if Canada and Mexico are about to have a recession, they should outperform the U.S. And I think the second thing people should keep in mind is that when you have a global crisis brewing, and we highlighted like the 1962 Cuban Missile Crisis, that was a 12-day crisis, but the markets bottomed 7 days into the crisis. 5 days before that crisis ended, the market was already recovered 2/3 of the losses.
And that was only, Nancy, nuclear holocaust. I mean, that literally was, we're going to break the world in half with ICBMs. I mean, that was, compared to tariff worries and a slowdown in the economy because we might slap something on European wine or steel, seems very small now. That said, again, and I'm not saying the markets are going to recover next week. I don't know. We're talking about history, and I don't like to bring up politics, Nancy. It always makes me feel like I need a shower, but I will ask you this. How much of this correction that we are seeing do you think, 100%, 50%, 0%, is political, is man-made, is tariff-made?
It's funny you asked that, Brian. It's good to see you. If you look at the consumer sentiment numbers today, and I commend everyone to read Kelly's piece that she wrote this morning, but if you look at behind it by political party, what you see is that Democratic sentiment has not been this low, especially on expectations, ever. And so if you look sentiment overall by party, Democrats down from 91.4 all the way down to 41.4, while independents and Republicans are down somewhat but have held up. And then on expectations, down from 28.2 down from 93.1 to 28.2. So that's driving some of these sentiment numbers that the market's keying off of. And I would just point out that the bond market is not panicking. And so this notion that we're going to go into recession because the Atlanta Fed GDP Now number was revised down, that was driven by imports. They were up 70% in January as purchasing managers trying to get in front of tariffs. So I think just like in 2022, this will all settle in. We are seeing decelerating growth, but that's good for many of the names that have been punished, the reliable earnings growers in technology and consumer discretionary and some financials even. So I think we will continue. This is a correction. We needed one. We get one every 12 months. And so now the question is, have we hit the bottom? Do we have a little more to go? But I don't think we're in a bear market.
Tom Lee recently came out to comment on Nvidia's stock making another surprising leap, capturing the attention of investors and industry analysts alike. And Lee revealed something shocking that is going to happen to Nvidia soon. With no evident trigger, Nvidia climbed nearly 4.5% in the final half hour of trading last Friday. Could this be the news investors were waiting for? Or is there something else that we are not seeing? Welcome back, everyone, to Investocracy.
Nvidia actually had a good week overall, unlike the major indices, but it's also got a big week next week with GTC. How influential do you think Nvidia is going to be with its news next week?
So, John, our concern with NVIDIA has been simply that it's been relying on a beat and raise dynamic with estimates for the past 6 months and has been laboring along that, right? But what you've done with this recent stock price setback, where you've sold the stock off, over 20% from peak to recent trough, is you begin to take some of that expectation out. So you get yourself to a point now where a reconfirmation that underlying trends are in place might just be sufficient to give the stock some renewed energy, at least on the short term.
So then how much of a potential tech industry catalyst, or I don't know what you want to call it, it might not be a catalyst, will NVIDIA's GTC be? Because they're not just talking about their own product, they're showcasing the possibilities involved with building on top of their technology.
That's right. So next week, GTC is the big event of AI for the year. Let's not forget, NVIDIA not only facilitates most of the progress in AI through their products, but is also really trying hard to cultivate the entire ecosystem around AI. They're going to promote LLM model companies. They're going to promote robotics companies. They're even going to promote quantum companies at a quantum day next week. And so they're trying to plant the seeds for these companies to leverage the NVIDIA product set to deliver more growth. So we're going to hear a lot more about that, and we'll hear more about NVIDIA's new products, Blackwell Ultra, Rubin that'll come out next year. And NVIDIA has a great opportunity to get the ecosystem excited about what can get built, even if it will take time.
As the stock market experienced a slight rebound after a challenging week, NVIDIA wasn't left behind. Friday's near close saw the tech giant's shares elevate as if on an invisible level up, drawing curious eyes to its unexpected ascent. The answer lies partially with Foxconn, Taiwan's largest electronics manufacturer, who recently anticipated its AI server business to more than double by the first quarter of 2024. But before going on with the video, are you into cryptocurrency? If so, check out our second channel, Investocracy Crypto. We bring you breaking news, expert analysis, and the latest trends in the fast-moving world of digital assets. Whether you're a seasoned crypto investor or just curious about the future of finance, we've got something for you. Click the link in the description to subscribe to Investocracy Crypto now. Don't miss out and stay ahead of the game. Now, let's get back to the video.
Meantime, NVIDIA bouncing higher today, up more than 5%. The stock closing out the week with an 8% gain, making it the only Mag 7 stock up this week. Still, the AI darling is down more than 20% from its 52-week high. And next week, the company hosts its GTC conference in San Jose with a keynote from CEO Jensen Huang Tuesday and a quantum day on Thursday. Analysts looking for updates on NVIDIA's Blackwell Ultra and next-gen Rubin chips, as well as demand from China and a roadmap for its quantum computing plans. Karen, no doubt part of the run-up this week, at least, was anticipation of this major potential catalyst.
Right. But what I think, I don't know if he's going to address this, is how is demand right now? Right. For what's going on.
Has anything turned?
Yes. Has anything turned, and having a little bit more time, not a ton, but a little bit more time post DeepSeek? Do you think the world has changed? Stacey Raskin, I don't know if you heard him on in the prior hour or two, was saying he thought DeepSeek was a big positive. But clearly, the street thinks differently. I'd be very curious to hear Jensen's take on that, which I know he's saying inference is we need so much more compute for inference.
Yes.
Right. And so he, is touting that as a positive, which there's skepticism, though.
Right. Tim, you got your voice back?
Let's hope so. This has been a tough run here. Yes. What can I do for you?
NVIDIA and GTC. What are you expecting?
I do think this is an important moment for the stock. We got numbers, as we all know, a few weeks back, and those numbers were fine. But as we think about the drivers and what the DeepSeek impact is, there's no question that still NVIDIA is the only game in town. And I still think that CapEx spend is not something we should be challenging. GTC is going to be another data point, and I think it's important for the market. I like what the stock did on the chart this week. It was really important.
Chairman Young Liu's remarks during an earnings call suggest a robust future with NVIDIA at the helm, predicting AI server revenue could command more than half of Foxconn's total server revenue by 2025. Liu revealed plans to escalate production for NVIDIA. In plain terms, NVIDIA is not just playing with the big boys, they are the big boys. But before going any further, if you made it this far into the video, thank you. These videos take a lot of effort and time to make, so if you enjoyed them, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. This goes a long way in helping us grow. That said, back to the video.
Do you remember when NVIDIA reported earnings, John Ford had an interview, a one-on-one interview with Jensen Huang after that report? And we were saying, oh, Jensen Huang, he's always managed to come out and message the markets and stir the stock higher, and nothing happened. So what do you think this time?
Yeah, he's been an excellent salesperson for the name. I think this will be one of those Apple events where you sell it, on the day of, or you sell it coming out of it. But what I thought was interesting is they're having their first ever quantum day. And if you look at stocks like D-Wave, that was up 47% today. If you look at Rigetti, that was up 28% today. So watch those names out of it. They're trying to change from AI to quantum. I think that's very interesting.
How does NVIDIA stack up in your Mag 7 list?
Well, they're really dependent on your other Mag 7, right? Because what you need to see is the capex from these other companies need to continue to increase, which interestingly enough did even after DeepSeek. They pledged even more money to go back to chips, which has been a positive for NVIDIA. So I think you want to watch not just what they're going to say at this conference, but also is that capex going to continue to increase, especially if there is concerns about growth in the economy? Are they going to pull that back? I think that's a bigger indication to where NVIDIA is going.
Emphasizing NVIDIA's promising prospects, investing in its stock seems increasingly appealing. The enhanced production efforts from Foxconn embody a strategic commitment to NVIDIA's pivotal role in AI advancement. But what do you think? Share your thoughts. Finally, if you would like to know what companies like NVIDIA have been up to these past few days, go ahead and click on the next video on your screen. See you there.